Okay. Hello, welcome back to my channel. This is Justin Cappuccino of Sashes&Scripts, and we are going live, and we are gonna talk about the presumptive Miss Universe in this live discussion. Just a warning muna dun sa mga magjo-join dito sa ating live stream. I know that the discussion, or the topic rather, is a little bit heated because every one of us have opinions of our own, have a list of our own. My only request for everyone is to be respectful of what is being said and discussed here. Because I noticed that lately, I've noticed that if the person that is supposed to be on our list is not the kind of person, or not the kind of candidate that you want to hear about, there have been an increase in the passive-aggressive comments, comments that either passively aggressively attack either the post, the person who is who is the topic of the post, or a passive-aggressive attack on myself. And I think we really need to start policing ourselves, that we be more mindful of what we say, what we talk about, what we post or comment on social media, because that is a reflection of who we are as a person. It's not a reflection of me, but rather a reflection of you. And that is, that is something that we really need to make. We really need to police ourselves on, because it's not a good thing that just because we cannot argue, or we cannot say our point without being offensive to others, that is, a very terrible exercise on self-restraint, and on a terrible, reflection of, how we were brought up by our parents. So please, let's be respectful, let's discuss, and let's argue with thought, with kindness, with sensitivity, because not everything that we are going to be discussing is something that we will all agree upon. There is a point where we really need to start thinking of the kind of image that we portray on social media, because that is eventually going to go back and get back at us. Okay, so what we're going to do for today is that we have 3 lists that we're going to talk about. We have listed the 5 girls that we think have the most universal face. We also listed, the 5 girls that we think had the best profiles at the Miss Universe app. And we also listed 5 girls who are the girls that we thought have the best pageant resume based on their backgrounds. So I will explain a little bit later on how these 3 lists are brought about, kung paano sila nabuo, because I think before we list down all of the ladies in these 3 na mga lists, we have to give you context on what are the basis for them, what are the things that we need to understand or to learn about these ladies, why they are in the top 5 of my list. And then at the end of the conversation, I will be discussing with you 5 girls who are currently on my top 5. The 5 girls that I think after a week of almost a week of activities, these are the girls that are most likely going to be the girls that we are going to be stalking on the preliminaries, their performances there, because these are the girls that I feel have the chance of becoming the next Miss Universe. Now, magkamustahan muna tayo. The first one here earlier was, I believe it's Ping. Ping, sabi niya, wait, nasaan na ba yun? Yung comment ni Ping, I think na natabunan ng mga comments ng iba. Okay, earlier, Ping said na, tawag ito, na please like yung ating live stream ngayon. Sana tawag ito, sana you would share and like this live stream, give a thumbs up because it will help us immensely kung paano siya ipupush later on ng algorithm ng YouTube. Okay, June is here. Sabi niya, good afternoon. Good afternoon din sa'yo, June. Mark Gonzalez is also here. Sabi niya, happy Sunday, Sir Sashes&Scripts scripters. Mabubusog na naman tayo ng insights, pieces of information, and patsaa possibly this afternoon. Excited to hear them while doing household chores. We also have, wait, what happened? We also have Hajiev. Hajiev is here. Sabi niya, good afternoon, sir. Let's hear it on your on-point assessments. And then we also have Jackie O whatever. Sabi niya, yes, peace and love. I think this is, with regards to the earlier message about making sure that we are respectful of each other on the comment section. And then Gamerholic is here. Sabi niya, Sir Jess, what's your stand for Colombia? Parang hindi siya stand out sa mga Latinas sa past year na laban sila. I think Colombia is just being overshadowed. I don't think that she is not a front runner. In fact, I think that she has been very steady with her campaign as Miss Universe. She doesn't have the same media exposure as other Latinas, but I think in terms of her background, in terms of her backstory, she has something to say. And I think it is safe to say that she will coast along into the semis. Hopefully, that will be the case. Otan says, hi Sir Jason, ako may I look sideways here and there pero diretso lagi tingin ko kay MMD. June says, excited to know your presumptive MU. Lore Last says, naimbag nga rabi, Jason from California, naragsak nga aldaw. No, it's no longer aldaw because it's already afternoon here. Good afternoon from the Philippines. It's approaching evening na dito. Hajiev, interested to see those with good resumes kasi this would tip a candidate to qualify more sa semis just like last year. Okay, mag-uusapan natin yan, Hajiev, because I think there is a lot of confusion with what's going on with the Miss Universe bios because the thing is, it doesn't look like the typical Miss Universe bios that we had in the previous years. In the previous years, the bio seems like these are very well thought out, well packaged na mga introduction on the girls. But this time around, it looks like there is a questionnaire that was sent to the girls, and then the girls had to list down answers on those on those questionnaires. And it just so happened that if you look at the way that they were answered, it was just very quick one-liners and for most of the answers. And I think that is the reason why we kind of have to review and research more on the actual backgrounds and the actual achievements of the girls because these, what's your definition of success questions, it typically feels like these are slum book questions. You know, those things that when you were in your grade school or in high school, these are the things that you would follow. Not follow. These are the things that you would answer typically on a preset na questionnaire like what's your life motto, what's your goal, what's your ambition in life, how do you see yourself in 5 years. So these are the typical questions that you would see at the slum book, and I think that is the reason why we don't see much of a wealth of information from the bios of the girls, and this is where we really need to take time. Initially, I wanted to post the best resumes, the article on our blog spot maybe a day before the publication of the best faces. However, when I was looking at the Miss Universe profiles of the girls on the Miss Universe app, they were kind of like threadbare. They were very weak in terms of the information that you can gather, and I think this is the reason why some people would think that hindi siya well thought of. But in fact, the reason why medyo late na nga inilabas itong listahan na ito, kasi kinakailangan ko malaman muna what are the things that makes these girls interesting. Why are they the girls that we should look out for? Why are they the ones that have meaty resumes? What are their achievements? What are their personal accomplishments in life, so that we can talk about them in this live stream. And that is the reason why I had several lists. Instead of merging the MU profile and the pageant resume, I separated that. That is why, if you haven't noticed, for those na tinignan muna yung live stream na ito before it actually was published, a day before, iba yung thumbnail nung live stream natin. So this time around, I really wanted to make sure that when I am explaining the 3 lists that I have and the 4th final list at the end of the live stream, meron tayong basis ng saan natin hinuhugot ang mga ito. Okay? So the first thing we need to do is read some comments before we go to the list, kasi medyo dumadami yung mga nagko-comment ngayon, medyo dumadami na yung mga nandito ngayon sa ating live stream. Now, Gamerholic is here. Sabi niya, Mexico and Puerto Rico are kind of giving same vibe for me. Hehehe, sabi niya. What do you think the best swimsuit design that would fit Michelle? The 2-piece, one kind of remind me of MUPH 2020. Gamerholic, saka natin pag-uusapan na muna yung mga candidates, but I will get back to you on Mexico and Puerto Rico later on. Where are we? Leona Magalona says, sabi niya, yes, naabutan din kita, Sir Jason. Okay, thank you very much for being here in our live stream. Ayan. So, before we begin, we actually have another poll like we usually do on our live streams. And dito, I am asking you, who do you think is your presumptive Miss Universe 2023? I'm not asking na hulaan nyo kung sino yung presumptive Miss Universe ko, but I am asking for your presumptive Miss Universe. Because I want to know kung ano yung pulso nyo ngayon, kung sino yung napupusuan nyo na magiging Miss Universe. I have 4 options here. Of course, hindi natin pwedeng ilagay lahat ng mga 80 plus na mga candidates. So I just narrowed into just 4 ladies. We have Anntonia Porsild here of Thailand. We have Mariana Downing of Dominican Republic. We have, of course, Michelle D of the Philippines, and Melissa Flores of Mexico. Ayan. Every now and then, susundot-sundot tayo dito sa chat box natin to look at the comments and as well as the positioning of the poll and kung sino yung leading doon sa sa poll natin. Okay? So, where shall we begin? Okay. Dahil nauna nang nailabas, because this list has already been published, by several days back. The universal face is something that I think a lot of people will have a difficulty accepting, because everyone defines beauty differently. On my end, I am basing on the proportions of the face, commerciality of the face, meaning, is this the kind of face that can sell products? Is this the kind of face that can move merchandise? I'm also basing it on, is this the kind of face that in anywhere in the world it can be considered pretty or beautiful? So yun yung tinitingnan ko. Those are my criteria, because it's easy actually for me to to gauge this, because having worked in the fashion industry, I've worked with models, with beauty queens in terms of their set cards, in terms of hiring for fashion shows and hiring for fashion events. So on my end, I have been trained to look at beauty in the perspective of someone who's selling a product. So that is where I'm coming from. I don't necessarily look at it from the perspective of just a pageant fan, but I'm looking at it from a professional perspective, so to speak. So At number 5, I have Nicaragua's Sheynnis Palacios. I have at number 4, USA's Noelia Voight. Number 3 for me is Thailand's Anntonia Porsild. Number 2 is El Salvador's Isabella Garcia Manzo. And number 1 for me is Dominican Republic's Mariana Downing. Now, I don't need to explain why these are on my best, best faces list. It's already published on my blog site on bakit ito yung mga best faces on my on my list. And if you want, I will be posting later on yung link on link on that post. That way you can go over yung list without me having to go over it again because you've already discussed this prior. Okay, now I want to focus on our discussion for this live stream on the Miss Universe profiles and the pageant resumes of the girls. Why? Because, as I've said earlier, the Miss Universe profiles are not very wealthy in terms of information on the accomplishments, the backstory, the backgrounds of the girls. There are several girls who were able to interject that in their in their profile. And that's good for them. It means that they were able to have presence of mind when they were asked on what are the things that you want to say about yourself. And I think the Miss Universe profiles, especially on the voting app, this should be something that the candidates should have thought of as an avenue to sell themselves, to promote their brand. Because this is an opportunity to touch, people who have no idea who you are. This is an opportunity for you to be able to reach out to people who may not necessarily have the means to see you in person, converse with you in person, and have an impression of you in person. So, importante that on your profile, you need to sell yourself. You need to tell what are your best accomplishments and why do you feel that those are your best accomplishments. You need to be able to sell yourself as the next possible Miss Universe to the common fan, because the common fan are the ones that are going to look at your profiles. Because I am sure that the official Miss Universe profiles that is going to be sent and given to the Miss Universe organization might be something that has more wealth and information on it, on who you are, what have you accomplished, what are your goals, who are the people that you look up to, why you are who you are at this point in time. So it's important that we have to understand from the perspective of a pageant fan, if I need to know who you are as a person, I need to get that information from the profiles or from the bio that you submit at the Miss Universe website. That is something that as a fan, I would appreciate, because if I am going through the candidates who are my favorites for the title, I would want to know more about them, right? So it's important that I am able to find more information on who you are as a person, because that is something that I would want to know, to get to know you better. Because if you are going to support someone, you want to know more about them. And that is something I think that the candidates this year kind of didn't really take into consideration. That is why in one of my posts on social media, in Facebook and Instagram actually, I mentioned that there are a lot of weak bios. The bios as a whole is quite weak as compared to the bios that we've seen from the past several years. Like for example, yung bio na lang ni Arboni Gabriel nung Miss USA pa lang siya, when she was competing, it already was very impactful in terms of wanting to know who she is as a person. Kasi doon pa lang sa bio niya, nakalagay na doon yung gusto niyang maging transformational leader, gusto niyang maging force for good. Nabanggit din niya, I believe, back then, yung yung phrase na fashion as a force for good. So these are the things that I would want to see and know in your bio. I want to know if are you someone who is promoting sustainable fashion? Are you someone who is promoting, autism awareness and additional rights for people with disabilities? Are you an advocate for women's rights and equality in the workplace? What are your thoughts on pay parity? So these are the things that if I am a fan or even a judge or even a pageant observer, if I want to get to know you as a candidate, I need to get a holistic picture of who you are from your bio. And this is the reason why, for me, in terms of the bios that is published on the Miss Universe, the Miss Universe app, there are 5 girls that for me stands out. Number 5 for me is Lujane Yacoub of Bahrain. Lujane is a ambassador for Smile Train Bahrain, and she is also an art teacher who teaches kids. And aside from that, she is also arguably one of the best faces in this year's competition. And the way that she actually, discussed and promoted herself on the Miss Universe app is very, very interesting, because let me read her bio to you. Sabi niya dito, Lujane Yacoub is the first Smile Train ambassador from Bahrain and initiated the Hero Project, championing the unsung heroes of her country. She believes that action speaks louder than words and has been empowering children from Bahrain's Adel Kanoo Community Center and the Dina Kanoo Micro School under the Bahrain Trust Foundation through art since she was 17 years old. Lujane believes that the young generation, united in discipline, hard work, and determination, can innovate any path into unparalleled progression. And this is why this bio is so impactful, because it is so full of rich keywords that would make anyone reading it get an impression that this is an impressive girl, that this is a leader from such a very young age. And being young at 17 years old, she's already doing community work and social work. It gives you the kind of idea that this girl is not just a pretty face, but there's also a good heart in this competitor. And this is the reason why Lujane is actually in my top 5 in terms of the Miss Universe profiles. The next one in my list is actually Brazil's Maria Brechane. And I have been, impressed with this lady from several months back, because back then I already found out that she actually speaks several languages, and aside from that, she can also communicate through Brazilian Sign Language. And let me read to you her her bio. Okay, Maria is a model and a journalism student, and an advocate for the importance of education. This is a subject that she has been working on for 4 years by lecturing in public schools, spreading her knowledge and ideas, and helping connect the students to institutions where they have access to sports, culture, and arts. Maria has taken the initiative to engage in such causes because she is aware that access to proper education has changed her life. Having a proper education has broadened her opportunities, taking her to Miss Universe Brazil and now to the universe. She speaks fluent Portuguese, English, Spanish, and Brazilian Sign Language. And kahit na sino, once you read this kind of profile, you would be impressed with what she has achieved so far. So this is the reason why, again, if you are a candidate, make sure that your profile, the one that you put on your Miss Universe bio, is something that has rich keywords. because it's important that you hit the nail on the head on those keywords, because that is something that would make you stand out in a sea of candidates. So imagine, I was reading through 80 plus na mga profiles of the Miss Universe bios, and ito yung mga nag-pop out in my head because of the fact that when I read through it, there were a lot of information, there were a lot of keywords, rich words that would make it impressive to look at, to read, that latched on at the back of my brain to think that these are the girls that I need to give a look on. Okay, now third on my list is actually Miss France. So let me just scroll to her into her bio, because I think we need to understand that Miss France is a really very impressive lady, because not only she speaks French, she also speaks English and fluent Spanish. And that is because nag-aral siya sa Spain. And she's not the only one candidate that actually is or has education in Spain, because I think El Salvador is also I think a student in, I'm not sure if it's in the Andalusia part of Spain. So let's read muna pala yung kay Diane. Diane Leyre was born on the 10th of July 1997 in Paris. After her baccalaureate, she moved to Madrid to enroll in IE University, one of the best schools in Europe, and later graduated with a bachelor degree in business administration. She's a French model, radio personality, and beauty pageant title holder who was crowned Miss Paris and then Miss France 2022 in Cayenne. Since August 2022, Diane has been a co-host of the Europe 2 daily morning show and the first Miss France working in media during her year. She works with many associations around tolerance and vivre ensemble. Okay, so and looking even to the rest of the bios, the questions on her bios regarding on her achievements and such, you can really see how Diane is promoting herself. Hindi siya yung mga one-liner na mga sagot. She answers the each points on her bio with such succinct na information that you get to know her better, that you get to understand that this is not just a person who just won a title and then wants to become Miss Universe. No, you see that this is a person who, even without the Miss France title or the Miss Universe title, she's a complete woman. That she is, you know, an accomplished person, even without all of these what do you call this? Even without all of these pageant titles on her belt. So this is also the reason why, you know, Diane is on my top 5 among the Miss Universe profiles. Now, at number 2 is Miss Jamaica. Okay, the reason why I am so impressed with Miss Jamaica is that she is probably the only fully fledged medical doctor in this year's batch. And aside from being a pageant title holder, a doctor, I think she's currently interning in her home country. She's also, you know, quite busy with her own social causes, with her own social responsibility program. And she's always, you know, she's always someone na you would get impressed because of her credentials. And here's her bio. It says on the Miss Universe app that Jordanne is a passionate medical doctor from Kingston, Jamaica. Jordanne Lauren Levy is driven by a strong work ethic instilled by her family. As a dedicated community leader, she embodies the role of a physician who saves lives and strives to make people feel better about themselves. A commitment she exemplifies through her beautiful campaign where she advocates for for girls' education and personal growth. As a Miss Universe delegate, Jordanne eagerly anticipates becoming a compelling voice for global change while showcasing her unwavering dedication and resilient Jamaican spirit. And again, introduction pa lang, you already are latching on to her accomplishment because the first two sentences in her bio immediately tells you what is her biggest accomplishment, and that is being a doctor, and that is, having the work ethic that is instilled by her family. So doon pa lang, sa first line or the first two lines of her bio, you can immediately feel that you are talking to a person who has accomplished so much in such a short period of time. Someone who has accomplished, a medical degree at such a young age. And this is why it is an impressive, it is laden with information. What's her background, how family is important with her, how she is, involved in her community, because it's already laid out in the first paragraph of her Miss Universe profile. That is the kind of how do you call this? That is the kind of bio that you really need to have in order for you to get attention, and that is the reason why she is number 2 in our list. Now, of course, number 1 on my list is Michelle D in terms of the Miss Universe profile, and I will explain to you why. Now, let me read first her her bio on the Miss Universe app. Michelle Marquez D is a 28-year-old entrepreneur, advocate, adrenaline junkie, award-winning actress, and a beauty queen who graduated with a degree in psychology at De La Salle University, and accomplished a certificate course in entrepreneurship at Harvard University online, all while founding a series of businesses that focus on health, multimedia creation, and Web3 adoption. She is also the president of Inner Peace Foundation, and notably, her lifelong mission is towards autism acceptance. Growing up with 2 autistic siblings inspired her to work closely with advocacy groups nationwide, and with that, Michelle has been Autism Society Philippines Goodwill Ambassador since 2019. And that is why she is on top of our list, because in her bio, you can immediately see the wealth of accomplishments that she has already accomplished at such a young age, and the reason why she is so passionate with her advocacy work. It also shows you her career path, the progression of her career from being an entrepreneur, being an actress, being a model, and at the same time, it showcases what is the degree that she was able to finish. And this is why, Philippines has for me personally, has the best Miss Universe profile among the candidates this year, because everything that you see from her bio is something that would promote her as a possible Miss Universe winner. So this is the reason why the bio is important. Your bio should speak about you. At the same time, it should also sell you as a potential winner, as a potential Miss Universe hiree. Because ultimately, your bio is your resume. And if I am a person who is interested with you as a potential Miss Universe winner, I would look at what are your accomplishments. And I can see that in your bio, in your Miss Universe bio. Before I even go to your social media, at least on my end as a pageant vlogger, I would go first at your Miss Universe bio, get to know who you are as a person before looking for receipts on your social media. Because that is, again, another important aspect of, of promotion. You have to have a understanding that your social media can be used to sell you, to sell your brand, to sell your image, to improve the perception of who you are, to improve your image to the pageant fans and to the pageant community. So this is important. We need to have an understanding that candidates should be able to maximize their bios in order for potential judges, fans, and the Miss Universe org to an extent, be able to look at you, look at what you have accomplished, and see if you are a good fit for the Miss Universe title. Okay? So, let's go first to the comments before we jump into the pageant resume, because at least meron na tayong foundation on what are we looking for in terms of the, what do you call this, in terms of the girls and their accomplishments. Okay, so oh, there's quite a number of comments na. Thank you very much for joining. We ended up with Leona Magalona's comment. Sabi niya, thank God at naabutan din kita. Rosco Peste, hello Rosco. I haven't made the transaction yet for the ticket. So, gagawin ko siya a little bit later tonight dahil I did some errands today. Okay, Rosca said, hi Sir Jason, I just finished endorsement. I hope I didn't miss too much. You didn't. I think nung dumating ka, we just started the discussion on what are we looking for. We discussed first briefly the universal face na aspect, because I already had a blog post on that. Let me copy yung blog post na yon and put it on the comment section for those na gustong mag-check out nung blog post a little bit later on. Okay? I scrolled too fast. Okay. June says, my presumptive Miss Universe is Miss Nicaragua, Sheynnis Palacios. I think Sheynnis needs to rest because she's looking tired a little bit in the past several days. Yung mga photos that I've seen of her are not very flattering, so it has something to do with exhaustion because you can see in her eyes that she looks exhausted. And I think kapag fresh na ulit si Sheynnis, walang problema dahil Diyosa ang lola mo. Okay? Margarita says, Philippines is overrated, as was Gazini Canados, Rabia Mateo, Beatriz Gomez, Louis Celeste Cortesi. Sorry. Okay, very spicy na comments. Gira Bago says, the bio and the Miss Universe websites are for the fans. A 2018 judge said on her video that they were provided with a soft copy of the bio prior to arriving in Thailand and a hard copy upon arrival. Okay, so which means that yes, even so, if even so, if the bios that were given to the Miss Universe organization is only for the fans, that is posted, the bios that were posted on the website, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be able to communicate holistically who you are as a person in order for you to be able to become a strong, candidate in the perception of the fans. Because again, fan perception is also important because you need to have fan base support, right? So how will you generate fan support if they don't get a sense of who you are as a person on your bio? So I think we should be looking at that as well. Okay. Mitsuko Ogata says, I think this year's crown will go to an Andrea Mesa. Wink, wink. Okay, let's discuss that a little bit later, because I think if you're hinting something like Andrea Mesa, it can be someone who is a crossover from a different pageant, different pageant system, or it can be like a difference of 10 years in between their victory, or decades difference between their victory. So there. Jirabago said, okay, I think Jirabago naulit na yung comment mo. Okay, RM McKay says, good evenings, good afternoon Sir Jason. My heart goes to Michelle for her hard work and the hate that she endured to prove herself worthy of being Philippines representative. If Anntonia wins, I understand. MUO survival matters to me. Okay, Margarita says, Mitsuko Ogata, yes, agree 100% on the Andrea Mesa comment. Simply Jerry says, Michelle D all the way, sir. Is that a heart shape na emoji. I'm not sure. Don't forget to vote, kababayans. Ayan, may plug pa siyang kasama. Okay? Margarita says, I believe a Latina will take the crown this year. Jester PL says, fifth crown to Michelle, the Philippines. Pa-advance happy birthday gift ko na to, pageant gods. Okay, JB Sarmiento is here saying, happy Sunday, Sir Jason. Happy Sunday to everyone as well, and especially to you, JB. Vox Ruiz is here. Sabi niya, nag-declare ang JKN ng bankruptcy. I think this year, malaking factor yung bankability of the contestant. Meaning yung makakabigay ng malaking pera sa JKN. Okay? Aichasia is here. Sabi niya, okay, Aichasia is foreigner. So, her comment here says, hi sir, my presumptive womeners are Thailand or France. We will be talking about that a little bit later, but I already discussed France, Diane, as my number 3 in the best Miss Universe profile or Miss Universe bio on the Miss Universe app. Again, Diane has a very impressive resume on her bio. It really shows, you know, the way that she's able to communicate who she is in such very short na mga sentences, but very succinctly able to partake or rather share who she is as a person. Wait. Where are we? Vox Ruiz says if financial constraints ang JKN, I'll go for the contestant who will bring in the money. I kind of agree. That is why I am stressing in this, you know, in this edition, its commerciality, its commerciality and the ability to sell is important in the selection of a winner. Okay, Romnick Parinas is here. Sabi niya, if credentials alone, MMD is by far ahead than any other girls in the group. MU is anybody's game. If Michelle's progression remains positive, she can definitely clinch the crown. I agree. But we have to also remember that Michelle is not the only girl with a very impressive resume. And this is the reason why I have created, or rather I have even recreated a separate what do you call this? A separate list. And I rebuilt their resume through research based on what I understand from their Miss Universe bios. Okay, so I will be listing that out a little bit later. Alejandro Inigo Sr. is also here. There's a comment here from Jester PL. Okay. No. It's Alejandro Inigo nga. Okay. Don't expect too much kay MMD, baka umiyak ang mga Pinoy. I think naman, Alejandro, it's reasonable to expect that Michelle would make at least semis or top 10 or even top 5. But we have to manage our expectations because anybody can win this at this point in time. It's still everybody's ball game. It's still anybody's ball game for that matter. Okay, Zotico Kagulata says, I've said this before, Michelle has a very strong campaign for the crown. However, Filipino pageant bloggers tend to be very biased in their assessments towards Michelle. Zotico, not all, bloggers are biased. In fact, it is possible that some of the bloggers can see as well the bios, the capabilities of other girls, and what they can bring into the organization should they win. And I think it's important to note that just because bloggers or Filipino bloggers have a sentimental attachment to the Filipino rep, it doesn't also mean that they are not objective. And if they are bloggers like me who does our own research, who looks not only at the bio of Miss Philippines, but also evaluate all the 80 plus candidates, Miss Universe profiles, as well as doing our own research on the different candidates who have, master's degree, who graduated with honors, who graduated as lawyers, as doctors, as architects. We tend to be fair when it comes to assessments like that, because hindi lang just to be able to get brownie points or clout just by mentioning Miss Philippines all the time. We also want to be fair in terms of our assessment, at least on my end. I really look at not only the bios of the Miss Universe candidates on their Miss Universe profile, but also I do my own research. Okay. Garcia says, in a live, Andrea Mesa said that the Mexican mogul is a co-owner of Miss Universe with JKN. That's news to me. We might have to check up into that a little bit later. Okay? Van Colod says, kung si Anntonia kasi mananalo, authenticity-wise, medyo tagilid po siya. Uusapan natin yan mamaya, Van, because in terms of authenticity, not a lot of fans actually did the research on Anntonia, and I did. And even as early as 2013, she already has a social cause, social advocacy that she's been supporting. So medyo preno tayo ng konti because I have the receipts, I did the research, and I will be discussing that a little bit later on. Garcia says, that's why there is a new headquarters in Mexico. Anne is not the only owner of MU, apparently. That's good. That's good. That's good. I think that's good because it means that if the Miss Universe has a co-owner, it means that there's a possibility that it will not be affected whether or not, JKN files for bankruptcy, right? So, which is good for the pageant. Where are we? Alejandro Indigo Sr. says, Miss U needs a commercial beauty para makabawi sila sa losses nila kay Zozy, Andrea, Harnaz, and Arbony. Okay. Where are we? Okay, Zotico Cagulada says, I always check foreign bloggers in their assessment of our candidates to get a sobering perspective about Michelle's performance and capabilities. It is safe to say that she has a very strong chance. I agree. Wait. Okay, where did we end? Garcia continues with a comment saying, I remember Miss Ireland in 2019 who was a NASA engineer. She had a strong advocacy but didn't place. I also remember her. I think probably one of the weak areas that she had is her pasarela. So probably that was one of the reasons why she didn't make it into the semis that year. Okay, Romnick Parinas says, remember, Kun An said that Miss Universe is intact and is not affected by announcements of bankruptcy. JKN has many businesses and Miss U is only a part of it. Okay, Gamerholic says, what do you think if Vina won MUT? Will she be a heavy favorite? Yes, I think so. Margarita says, Jason, very good assessments. Thank you. Okay, now let's go to the poll. Currently, Michelle leads with 72% of you saying that she is your presumptive Miss Universe winner, which is good. 19% says Anntonia of Thailand is their presumptive Miss Universe. There's also a 6% saying that Mariana Downing of Dominican Republic is their presumptive Miss Universe, and 4% says Mexico's Melissa Flores as their Miss Universe 2023. Okay, so now let's talk about the pageant resume. Okay, because I think it's important that when we talk about pageant resumes, we highlight the fact that there's a lot of missing information when it comes to the Miss Universe bios. Like, not a lot of the girls were able to indicate what is their educational attainment, what are the social causes that they are currently working on, what was their main achievements in life, and why. It's important that you have to contextualize it with the why part of of that question. So what I did was, based on all the profiles that I have read, I went through all 80 plus candidates' profiles, listed down the candidates that I felt had more to say based on their profiles, and research on their individual pageant backgrounds. So I was able to recreate on my own a set of what do you call it? A set of, how many is this? I think I had 12 candidates who I believed have the strongest pageant resumes, with probably around 4 or 5 girls that I think could have also made it in that list. But now, let me highlight the what do you call this? The 5 girls that I think had the strongest pageant resume. Now, for you guys who want to check out this list, you can head on to the link that I've posted here on the chat box, so that you can see who were the 12 girls that I felt had, very impressive pageant resumes. Okay, so the pageant resume is not only a combination of their educational achievements, but also their personal backgrounds, their backstories. So number 5 for me, I have Puerto Rico's Karla Guilfu. And the reason why she is on my list is because, let me read her resume, okay? Okay, I think I scrolled too fast. Sorry about that. Let me just... Where did I... Okay. Where is it? How come it's not here? Wait. There. Karla, her educational career led her to complete a bachelor's degree in psychology at the Ana G. Mendez University of Gurabo in 2020. This achievement marked the beginning of her master's degree in psychological counseling at the same institution, where she is currently in a practice stage within the program. In addition, Karla has a certification as a yoga instructor, which reflects her interest in holistic well-being. She also has a background in sports, having been a volleyball player for 12 years. As a child, she always dreamt of positively impacting the people around her, and that's why today she has her own nonprofit organization, Let's Begin to Heal, that impacts the mental health of Puerto Ricans through psycho-educational projects, the promotion of social justice, and community service. As part of her professional and personal commitment, Karla has served in the role of crisis manager at Linea Paz, a mental health emergency line in Puerto Rico. Her work involves providing support to people who reach out in search of emotional and psychological help. Now, in the sphere of mental health, I think Karla Guilfu, in the sphere of her advocacy work on mental health, Karla Guilfu has not only the background, but also the expertise and the history to back her claims. So it's important that we understand that this is not just a person who has a degree in psychological counseling, but also is taking her master's degree. And I think that is the kind of resume that you would not ignore at Miss Universe, because not only she puts her her career in good use, but also it helps give a picture of who she is as a person. And the mere fact that she's not only looking at mental health from the sphere of psychological counseling and psychology, but also looking at it from the perspective of a yoga instructor, from someone who practiced sport for 12 years. Because if you practice a sport for that long, you develop in yourself a kind of mental fortitude, a kind of mental strength that you are able to battle and to carry on, whatever left curveballs that life throws to you from whatever field. And I think the importance of Karla's work on the mental health also gives her credence in terms of her background with her master's degree and her degree on psychological counseling, because that would essentially be something that if you are a patient, you would want to be, entertained, or you would want to be counseled by someone who has the credentials to back it up. So that is why Puerto Rico's Karla Guilfu is my number 5 in terms of the weight of her pageant resume. Now, at number 4 is, of course, I love people, especially pageant girls, who have law degrees. And at number 12, I have Bryoni Natalie Govender of South Africa. Now, let me read to you the bio that I recreated for her. She started modeling at the age of 14 and entered the Miss South Africa contest twice. Bryoni has a law degree, has a bachelor's of law degree from the University of Johannesburg, and was admitted as an attorney in July this year. She has pledged to be an ambassador of rights during the course of her reign with her campaign, Her Way Out. The main objective of which will be to take up the cudgels on behalf of women everywhere and help educate them on legal rights. To make her campaign as effective as possible, Bryoni has teamed with the social impact team at global law firm Norton Rose Fulbright, which has offices in Johannesburg, Durban, and Cape Town, to focus on, among others, access to justice projects. She also has been appointed as an ambassador for the public benefit organization Lawyers Against Abuse, who work to ensure meaningful access to justice for victims of gender-based violence by providing legal services and psychosocial support, empowering communities, and engaging national authorities. Now, this is something that if I were a judge, I would immediately put her in the list of the ladies who are to watch out for in terms of the possibility that they might become the next Miss Universe, because it immediately tells you that this is not a girl who is just idling out while things are happening around her, but she is someone who takes initiative, who takes what she has learned, what's her vocation, what's her job, essentially into a vocation of sorts where she speaks up for women. And I think in an era of the Miss Universe organization where they are emphasizing on women empowerment, on women's rights, on equal treatment of women in the workplace, I think Bryoni has a very good leg to stand up on in terms of what she is accomplishing, what she has accomplished so far as a Miss Universe South Africa winner. I think that ultimately we have to be mindful that there are women who are not only accomplished academically, but put those academic achievements to good use and use that for the betterment of society. And I think you can immediately sense that with Bryoni's resume. And if she is able to communicate what she have achieved so far with her initiative during the closed-door interviews, then you would be, she's almost like guaranteed the spot at the semis. And I think this is the reason why we really need to pay attention with South Africa this year. South Africa is during the conversation, the live stream with with Mark earlier last week. I've placed her in my top 5, and she still, I think, remains in my top 5 because of what I've seen in her resume. And I know that some of you might be commenting later on that, oh, how about the video where there was a video of Bryoni with Miss Thailand, Miss Singapore, and another candidate where it didn't look good on her. I think that was a failed attempt on humor on Bryoni's part. I think she was leading towards a possible joke, but I think it didn't fly. So maybe before we judge her completely on that, we have to learn, or we have to know first what is the context of the conversation. Okay? Now, in terms of pageant resume, at number 3, we have, or rather I have, Thailand's Anntonia Porsild in the list. And I know some of you, especially some Pinoy fans na feel ko magrarally because of Thailand's inclusion in this list. But let me read what I have come up so far in terms of Antonia's resume. Okay, Anne studied here. Anne studied public relations and communications at the EU Business School in Barcelona. A multilingual, she speaks fluent Thai, English, and a little bit conversant in Spanish, having lived in 7 different countries growing up. In 2022, she graduated from Stanford International University in Bangkok with a bachelor's degree in advertising and public relations. And earlier this year, she has been accepted in the same university for their Masters of Business Administration program. From 2013 to 2015, Anne was an Operation Smile student volunteer, and this humanitarian experience has motivated her to start her advocacy called the Little Steps Project. As the founder of Little Steps, Anntonia has helped build a school. Anntonia has helped build a school library for children in Nakhon Ratchasima province, and established in 2015, the program focuses on community, activity, and service charity projects that focuses on giving back to local communities in Thailand. She also volunteered and distributed basic essentials to highly affected areas in Thailand during the COVID pandemic through her skincare brand, Omorphia. So that in itself tells you that, yes, Anne may have been popular as a social media influencer, as a model, or as a pageant girl, but in terms of educational achievement, she also has something in her bag. The mere fact that she has now been accepted in the MBA program of her school, Stanford International University in Bangkok, tells you that this is a girl who has a good, good brain in between her ears. And the mere fact that people tend to gloss over the fact that apparently when she was still like a teenager, she already was a Operation Smile volunteer in her country. It tells you that there is a good heart with this person. And I think it's easy to gloss over that because a lot of us see her as competition for our own Michelle. And I think we need to be fair, I believe, in the treatment of the girls, and give due what is due hers. Okay, she is not only aware of the fact that she is being scrutinized, that her Miss Supranational title comes with a lot of baggage, but also she has made sure that despite her risking to join NUT and now Miss Universe, she also made sure that in terms of her resume, in terms of background, there is so much that can be unpacked there. The mere fact that she has her own social cause initiative that stemmed from her initial social work with Operation Smile tells you that in terms of her resume, she has something to, kumbaga meron siyang bala na pwedeng, na pwedeng gamitin. The mere fact that she also has her own business, which is the Omorphia brand, which I think it's leaning towards sunscreen protection, mga products na sunscreen related and sunblock related, tells you na hindi lang siya maalam in terms of her educational background, but she's also putting it into practical use. The mere fact that she also volunteered during the COVID pandemic, risking not only her health and safety and well-being, she also is a person of good heart, I believe, because of that. So let's not dismiss her because we see her as a threat, but also, treat her fairly and look at what she has accomplished so far. Because from a young age, you can immediately see that she has been doing a lot of good things in terms of what she has personally accomplished. Okay, now let me just take a sip because we're now in our top 2 in terms of the pageant resumes of the girls. Okay, so now here we are doon sa mabibigat, mga heavy hitters on their resumes, and at number 2 we have Melissa Flores of Mexico. Melissa, I was informed when I wrote this, after I wrote this, recreated this bio for her. She already earned her license as a what do you call this? As what, licensed therapist, I think. Let me check my inbox. Okay, give me a second. She already earned her license as a therapist for her degree. Okay, because Melissa Flores is a 25-year-old psychology degree holder and recently finished a diploma program in leadership and professional image projection. An advocate for women's victims of dating violence, the 6-foot-tall Melissa has completed her own TEDx talk on the prevention of dating violence among teenagers. Through the hashtag #NoMilimites, Melissa promotes ending violence in dating relationships and also visits various localities in her state to give talks on this topic. Melissa is a model and the current Director of Culture and Tourism of the Municipal Government of Venustiano Carranza, in which she is dedicated to promoting the image of the municipality through social, cultural, and educational events. And this is the reason why Melissa is on my number 2 spot, because one, she has her license, she has a degree on psychology, she has a diploma on the leadership and professional image projection. She already delivered a TED Talk at such a very young age, which is similar to what Sofia Aragon has accomplished in 2019 when she was competing for Miss Universe. And as we all know, Sofia ended up as second runner-up. And this is something that you really need to look at in terms of Melissa, because Melissa, even when she was still competing at Miss Earth several years back, she was already a very articulate girl. She speaks very fluently in Spanish, and the choice of words that she uses when she communicates are very empathetic words. And I think that is the reason why Melissa is high on the list, is because not only does she has a presence to her, but also in terms of her resume, it is very much loaded. The mere fact that she has been employed by her hometown as the Director for Culture and Tourism shows how the local government relies heavily on her image to promote to promote her own hometown. And siguro we really need to to understand that not everyone has that kind of achievement early on in life. At age 25, there's so much that she's already achieved, and I think anyone who reads her bio, who reads her accomplishments, who is able to learn more about what she has accomplished, hindi imposible na hindi sila ma-impress sa kanya. Okay? Now, number one, I know people will start like magtataas ng kilay because of my number one, because all you see is a pretty face. But my number one in terms of pageant resume is actually Dominican Republic's Mariana Downing, and here's why. Okay, Mariana Downing grew up with a diplomat father, allowing her to travel the world and experience different types of fashion from countries she lived in, and traveled to okay, ulitin natin. Sorry, nauutal-utal ako. Okay, growing up with a diplomat father allowed her to travel the world and experience different types of fashion from countries she lived in and traveled to, which ignited her passion for the industry. She started modeling at age 17 and has loved the independence it brings. She is a graduate of the Lee Strasberg Theater and Film Institute in New York. I believe that's in New York. And is pursuing studies in political science and philosophy and a leadership and business program at the Harvard University. Harvard ang lola nyo. Okay. When she isn't in the front of the camera, you can find her giving back to the community and helping others that are less fortunate. She has worked with charities including Jack Brewer Foundation in Haiti, Habitat for Humanity, and St. Margaret Center in Los Angeles. Downing hopes to start a nonprofit organization that helps children all around the world, as she strongly feels children are the future and uniting together is what will help the world. Mariana is also an aspiring author, about to release an autobiographical collection of poems titled Evolve Love. Okay, let's take this out before we discuss, Mariana's impressive background. Okay, her claim to fame was when she dated Mark Anthony, but it was just for a very short period of time. And even then, Mariana was already a successful model of her own. She has, She has worked with some of the biggest brands as a model. She's actually based in Miami. I think she is under IMG Models. But her work has allowed her to work with such big name brands like Chanel, Calvin Klein, Dillard's, and several other US brands. So in terms of her work, Mariana has already traveled the world for that. Aside from that, she also is actively participant in different charities, especially the Jack Brewer Foundation and Habitat for Humanity. That means that when it comes to social responsibility, social and community projects, she has a wealth of it. Aside from that, being a daughter of a diplomat allows her to rub elbows with the elites of different diplomatic circles all over the world, which means that her upbringing is closer towards the more alta sociedad, because, and let's admit it, if you are a diplomat, you are expected that your family is also up to a certain degree in terms of social decorum. And this is the reason why when we look at Mariana, she probably channels that very expensive looking na vibes, because of the fact that she actually grew up in different parts of the world. So that, in its sense, allows us to see that this is not just a typical, pageant girl, because at age 17, she already has started her career, and has been, very independent, because of, her work and her modeling job. You see that if you're going to hire her as the next Miss Universe, for example, she can immediately take on the responsibility because she has been working from a very young age, and she knows, proper decorum because of the way of her upbringing, having been a daughter of a diplomat. So which means that in terms of, connections, in terms of possible, commercial ties with different brands, different FMCGs, companies, she already has that. So I am not surprised if people will start paying attention to Mariana, because aside from having a very beautiful face, in fact, I think if I am going to be blunt about it, her face reminds me of the French actress, an Oscar winner herself, Marion Cotillard. She reminds me of her. And I think that's the reason why she is also the number one girl in our list of the best faces. So with that in mind, she's not only a beautiful face, but she is also someone who has a very packed resume. So I think that is the reason why we should all be looking at this girl as a possible Miss Universe contender. Okay? Now, before I jump off to my current top 5, I want to read muna yung mga comments, because I think there's quite a number of comments already. I've seen the comment section moving about. But before that, let's see the poll first. Currently, 70% of you is saying that your presumptive Miss Universe is Michelle D of the Philippines. There's actually 22% of you saying that Anntonia Porsild of Thailand is your presumptive Miss Universe. While Mariana Downing of the Dominican Republic only has 5%, and Melissa Flores of Mexico has 3%. Okay, now, I will be keeping this poll open up until the end of our live stream. So let me just go and read your comments. Okay? Where are we? I think we ended up with Margarita's comment saying that very good assessment. So thank you for that. June says, Anntonia is the most marketable candidate and she comes from a pageant-frenzy country. Ang dami rin niyang followers. She has a strong chance to win, pero overshadowed by JKN's bankruptcy. Galingan niya. Johnny B says, mabuhay from Novaliches. Mabuhay, Johnny B, welcome to our live stream. RM McKay says, can I say this? I love your human resource development approach to the selection of Miss U. This is how pageants are elevated rather than the visual side that makes it seem superficial. Thank you, RM. I try as much as possible to look at it and offer a perspective that is different from every other pageant vlogger and every other pageant page that's available in social media right now. Having been a marketing advisor when I was working in Indonesia for almost 7 years, one of my responsibilities is that of a hiring manager, where I not only evaluate and assess potential, incoming employees to the company, but I also evaluate them through interviews. And for me, it's more important what is not being said in their bios, because those can be added with flowery words in order to get that initial interview. So it's important for me that when I am hiring and I'm interviewing potential, employees for the company, I dig deep. I look into their personalities. I look at their what they can offer to the organization or to the company. What newness that they can bring in order for me to find a way that he or she will fit into the organization. And that is my approach as well for the Miss Universe live stream episode today. I looked at it from the perspective of, if I were a member of the Miss Universe organization, how would I conduct the interviews so that I get the best possible candidates for the title at hand. So thank you very much. I really do try, RM, to provide a different perspective that you don't see elsewhere. Okay, Margarita says South Africa will be placed in the top 10 or top 5. I agree. Ronan Rafuerza again is here. Hello, Sir Ronan. Kumusta? Thank you very much for the shout out on Instagram, especially for tagging sina Gabi, sina Justine, at saka sina Michael. Thank you. Okay, let's continue dito sa comment ni Sir Ronan. Sabi niya, in your fearless forecast, do you think Michelle will make it to the top 5? Maganda rin naman background at profile niya. Currently, Michelle is sitting comfortably at my siguro mga number 6-7 na spot, just a throw away, an inch away from the top 5. Pero kinakailangan, I think that she really needs to fight for it come preliminaries, come finals, because there are a lot of strong girls, not only her, that is aiming for the title, and I am afraid that because of the lukewarm reception of the Spanish people, the Salvadorian people on her at the venue, baka ma-overshadow ng cheers ng mga Latinos yung cheers for her. So I do hope na it will be a good year for the Philippines, but maybe that is too much pressure on her. So the least that I can ask is a good representation of the Philippines from Michelle. Rods Abelido, hello, good evening. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Jess. Finally, hindi team replay. Ayan, welcome to the live stream. I do hope na you're enjoying our live stream ngayon. Okay, isa sa mga suki natin na ang nandito ngayon, sabi niya, okay, Jon Snow 79, sabi niya, what is the use of the bio in the end? Miss Universe winner will just be joining showbiz, checking the last winners of MU, most, if not all, showbiz personality, hosting gig or social media influencer. I think ultimately, you know, we have to recognize that the Miss Universe is a stepping stone for any girl to foray into different fields. Majority of them indeed goes to showbiz, but there are some others who, you know, traverse differently. And like for example, I think when what's her name again? I forgot. Irene Saez, you know, after her Miss Universe stint, you know, she went on to politics. So I think there are avenues of for girls that they can choose from, but sadly, the ones that we are most aware of are the ones who end up into having a showbiz career. Ayan. Margarita says, yes, Melissa Flores of Mexico, impactante resume. Melissa always speaks eloquent English. Dominican Republic, yes, another intelligent, eloquent Latina. Okay, Sir Ronan says, my pleasure, hehehe, follower mo talaga ako. Kasi hindi ka bias magbigay ng comments. True strong contender si Dominican Republic. Sana nga umarangkada si Michelle sa pre-pageant and closed-door interview. That is what I am hoping for. Because I think pretty much during the closed-door interview, the top 30, top 20 is possibly already being formed at the heads of the judges. So I think my intuition is telling me that after the closed-door interview, the top 10 is already cemented in the heads of the judges and the Miss Universe organization. The preliminaries would only probably extend that into who makes the top 16 or top 20 of the competition. That's my gut intuition. That's what my gut feel is telling me. Okay? Okay, so let's now talk about who are the ladies in my top 5. Okay, so nabanggit ko na kanina, si Michelle is within the striking range of making top 5. So who now makes my top 5? At number 5, I have Diane Leyre of France, because Have you seen the video that I posted? I think, yeah, it was yesterday, on Diane Leyre, where she is communicating with this very young, sweet girl from El Salvador. And she is telling her that, repeat after me, tell, every morning in the mirror, these things to yourself. This is essentially, making the girl, with cleft palate surgery, na she has the sweetest smile, that she's an empowered person, that she's an empowered girl and an empowered woman. So I think, that is the kind of feeling, that is the kind of good vibes that you would want a Miss Universe extend to people that she meets. And I think the mere fact that Diane was able to, in such a very small way, able to impact somebody else's lives with that huge of an impact, I think she would be a great Miss Universe. And not only that, because if you look at France, at Diane was also among the list of girls that have the best face in the pageant. I think she's one of the top 18 girls that I've listed, who I believe has one of the best faces. And again, if you noticed earlier in my Miss Universe bio, I have listed her as one of the girls with the strongest profiles. And when it comes to my list of the best pageant resume, Diane is among, again, the top 17. So it's no coincidence that Diane is very strong in my list, very high on my list at number 5, because I am expecting that Diane is going to be a candidate that would suddenly come up from, unexpectedly in the top 5 possibly, and really make a killing, because I think, Diane has the qualities of a good Miss Universe winner. Okay, next. At number 4 is a little bit, controversial because of the issue on the video earlier that we've all seen with regards to possibly a failed attempt at humor, is South Africa's Bryoni Govender. Because the reason why she is in my top 5, still maintaining her number 4 position, it's because of her ability to speak. And when she talks, you listen. And that is the reason why Bryoni never left my top 5. I think Bryoni is one of those girls who has a very interesting face. I know I have a certain bias towards Indian beauties. And Bryoni, for me, has that, beautiful face, strong communications, and I just do hope that when it comes to the preliminaries, she really gives her all, because I haven't seen how strong her pasarela is after her Miss South Africa stint. So I am hoping that that is something that was able to address by her trainer and the Miss South Africa organization. Okay, number 3. Number 3 is, one of those girls that has a very impressive background and resume, and that is Mexico's Melissa Flores. Mexico, for me, is giving us another Sofia Aragon level candidate who has a very impassioned way of speaking about her social causes. And I think that Melissa could definitely be one of those girls that could snatch the Miss Universe title. And aside from height, aside from a very interesting, beauty, facial structure, she has very high cheekbones, very chiseled na jawline. I think this is one of the girls that we have to look out for as a possible contender, a possible underdog for the Miss Universe title. Now, my number 2 remains the same. She was she was originally the number 1 in all our list, and then suddenly dipped down to number 2 during our conversation with Mark several days back. And she still maintains that same position as of now, and that is Anntonia Porsild of Thailand. I think Anntonia remains one of the strongest girls that the goddess that is competing at Miss Universe this year. Let's not be blind about it. Let's not be, passive aggressive when it comes to Anntonia, because if we judge her merely by what she is accomplishing, what she is doing at Miss Universe, she's doing quite well. And that is despite all the scrutiny, despite all the negative campaigning that I've seen go against her. That is despite all of these, these passive-aggressive comments regarding her. Now, if it was any other candidate, people would not give as much scrutiny as her, as they give her, because Anntonia, I think, is a threat. I think that is something that every one of us, whether we admit it or not, is a major threat to the crown. In fact, I still stand by what I said before. The crown is Anntoria's to lose. And if she succumbs to the pressure, she succumbs to the negative campaigning against her, Anntonia, despite all of this, could still win the crown. That is only if she does not succumb to the pressure. Because I think Anntonia has one of those command in social media that anything that I post about her, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram or Facebook, the engagement are super high. And when I mean engagements are super high, it means that there's a lot of shares, there's a lot of saves, there's a lot of comments, there's a lot of heart or like reactions or angry reactions for that matter. And in terms of reach, she actually is double than the closest girl in terms of engagement. In fact, I did a comparative post between a certain candidate, a very popular candidate in the Philippines, versus Anntonia, and Antonia's post always outstrips that of the other popular girl. And to think that the first 24 hours of, or rather the first 48 hours versus the first 24 hours of the post between those two girls, Anntonia always ends up higher, even if hers was the 24 hours only. So that is the reason why Anntonia is quite high on the list, because any engagements that surrounds her always outstrips other girls by comparison. And I don't know for other social media pages if they have experimented on that or they have checked up on that. But me, I always look at the insights of my Instagram posts. I always look at the insights on my YouTube posts and evaluate how effective is that person in terms of reach, in terms of engagement. And I think that is where Anntonia gets her power. The ability to be able to get people to talk about her, whether it's negative or positive, that is a huge arsenal on her belt, because people talk about you positively or negatively, and even more so when they talk about you negatively, it's because you have the power to command attention. And that is what Anntonia gets. And that is what Anntonia gives. And that is the reason why, despite all of the negative campaigning surrounding her, Anntonia is still a major threat to the crown. And I think she is possibly the only Asian who is so close to winning the Miss Universe title at this point in time. And I am sure that in terms of endorsements, in terms of brand sponsorships, she will bring, as many sponsorships and endorsements to the Miss Universe brand if she wins the title. Now, let's now go to the person who I think is the presumptive Miss Universe at this point in time. And that is Dominican Republic's Mariana Downing. And the reason why is because she has the face, she has the connections, she has the resume. If you've seen her pasarela when she competed at Miss Dominican Republic versus the pasarela that she's been showing during her training with Magali Febles, you would see huge transformation in that area. So when it comes to beauty of face, when it comes to her ability to be sellable and marketable, she has the connections because she has connections to Hollywood. She has connections to what do you call this, to the fashion industry, and she also has a very strong look and presentation skills. Care of the training of with Magali Febles. So I think that she would be perfect as Miss Universe. And I also think that because the Latinos are very strong this year, I think that whoever Latina ends up in the last two standing, there will be huge, wave of support for her. And if that happens to be Mariana, then I think everyone in the auditorium come finals will be cheering for her to win, because let's face it, Mariana brings so much energy into the competition that you feel that even if she does not do so much, people will still talk about her. And I think that ability, to get people talk about you with very little social media presence. I am looking at the socials of these top two ladies, Thailand and Dominican Republic. Thailand is very active on social media. Mariana is not so much. She does not have the same machinery as Anntonia does. And in fact, she has even less support, I believe, on social media in terms of content creation. Unlike Anntonia, that she has a team rallying behind her to create content for her. With Dominican Republic, with Mariana, despite not posting as often as other candidates does, if you look at the tag post on Mariana Downing, there is so much that it rivals that of Antonia's, and that is the reason why I think Dominican Republic is the girl to beat this year. And if you are sleeping under the rock and not noticing Mariana, this is the time that you wake up and smell the roses, because Mariana is delivering. And I think that come finals or rather come preliminaries this coming week, people will be glued on her, because even if you don't give her a very spectacular gown or a spectacular wardrobe, people will tend to overlook that because of the face. And I think that is, one of the reasons why Mariana is high on our list, because you make her wear, very, frumpy clothes, and she would still work it as if it's haute couture. Like it's Chanel or Dior. And I think, having that kind of ability to make, to elevate a product is something that you would need as a Miss Universe, especially now that Miss Universe is, pushing merchandise, pushing skincare products. And I think Mariana would be a good endorser for the Miss Universe skincare line. Okay? So, I think I've discussed everything that I want to discuss. So let's now look at the poll and the final comments before we close our discussion. Okay? As for your presumptive Miss Universe, Michelle D leads with 72% of their votes. Anntonia comes in distant second at 19%. Mariana Downing is at third position with 6%. And Mexico's Melissa Flores is at 2%. So thank you very much for everyone who joined in this poll, because this has been a very interactive na poll for us. Now, let's now look over the comment section. Okay, Kevin Herbabuena says, I can feel the Pia vibes sa stint ni Michelle this year. And I think, Kevin, that is because Pia's go-to designer nowadays is the same designer as Michelle's, which is Mark Baumgartner. Margarita says yes to France, thumbs up. R.M. McKay says, a former judge of Miss Universe 2018 stated in a YouTube video that the closed-door interview makes 60% of the overall scores. Maybe this was the reason Laos and Canada made semis last year. That's what I have been saying for the longest time. I've been repeating this over and over and over since Miss Universe 2016, that 60% of the overall scores is on the closed-door interview. Okay, so I do hope that all the girls magpakitang gilas when it comes to their turn at the closed-door interviews. Okay, Johnsnow79 says, I think the reason kung bakit pinalitan ng Miss U yung bio, kasi pwede namang padded yung ibigay ng mga candidates. How someone can provide a superb answer to a simple question is far more impressive. Margarita says, Melissa Flores is the tallest candidate, standing at 6 feet tall and very beautiful. I think Thailand, Anntonia, is the most beautiful and prepared Asian candidate. From Venus, mananalo yung hindi peke ang credentials. I agree. And I think, you know, a lot of the girls that I have listed with the best pageant resumes, Karla Guilfu, Bryoni Govender, Anntonia Porsild, Melissa Flores, and Mariana Downing really had a strong resume. And I think that is kudos to them for working on themselves, you know, improving themselves, making better of themselves every day. Margarita continues with, Dominican Republic is yes, my paisana. Yes, Latinas, we're very strong. Thank you. I agree. This year, the Latinas came to slay. So if this is going to be another, you know, Hollywood, Florida situation where the top 5 is comprised of 4 Latinas with just 1 Asian. Remember, India's Adeline Castellino was the only sole Asian to make top 5 in Miss Universe that year. I will not be surprised because the Latinas really came to slay. But I also have this feeling that possibly it will be a Latina who will be the Miss El Tocuyo this year. So, you know, having a strong batch of Latinas has its, you know, has its like positive and negative sides. It has its own pros and cons. And I am expecting that one of the strong Latinas would probably be the recipient of El Tocuyo this year. Okay? Nasa na ba tayo? Johnsnow79 says, since 2016, Thailand rep has always been a threat, but they end up choking up come finals night. Unfortunately, si DR hindi nagre-resonate. Mukhang El Tocuyo siya for me. Face is not everything for Miss U. I kind of agree din naman that face is not everything for Miss U. And that is also the reason why I am also relying on her resume to speak for herself, because I think Mariana has a very strong resume among the candidates. Sophie Santos, where do you see Michelle D faring in the ranks as of the... Sophie, I already discussed that earlier. So please backtrack na lang later because we've already finished that. And we're moving now towards the end of our live stream, okay? Chika PH says, sir, what do you feel if MMD will be El Tocuyo by Miss U this year? Ay, Diyos ko Lord. Wag naman. I mean, katok. Well, this is not really wood, but sige, this is wood. Okay, please, wag naman sana because sayang yung placement. Naputol na nga yung very long na streak natin at the 12-year streak ng Philippines in Miss U has been cut off last January, which is we should have been like the 13th ng ano, malas talaga sa atin ang 13. So maybe, you know, the 14th would be the start of another streak. So I am hoping for that. Okay, so final thoughts. Okay, a lot of the girls that we have, a lot of the girls that we have listed in our live stream list today has the potential to become Miss Universe. Okay, I do hope that after the preliminaries, we can finally gauge who are the candidates to look out for come finals. And me and Mark, we're going to be discussing later on our schedule so we can match each other's schedule after the prelims is done, so we can discuss and really give our thoughts on the performances of the girls. So please watch out for that. Now, as a final thought, I think that ultimately, whether we agree or disagree with this list, I do hope that everyone would take a chill pill and stop being, you know, aggressive or passive aggressive or being nasty in the comments, because these are just opinions. They are my opinions for that matter. And I do hope that come close to interview, come preliminary competition for the swimsuit and the evening gown, these girls would deliver their A game, because what I can guarantee you is the ball is round and it can travel anywhere. It can go anywhere. If you're not prepared to give it your all, then you might be seeing yourself letting the chance slip away from you. And unfortunately, Miss Universe will only allow a girl to compete once in their lifetime. So, give it your all, hope for the best, and always think that, what can I do to better myself today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow? Because that is what transformational leadership is. It's working towards being better. And you should be able to showcase that at this point in time into the competition. Winning Miss Universe is a matter of luck, but luck is also a matter of preparation. So if you prepared for it, you work hard for it, then I do hope that, you know, the Miss Universe organization reward good work, reward effort, reward the girls who are deserving of the accolades. Because this year's batch is a very competitive batch, and I think that ultimately the one who's going to win is the best fit with what the Miss Universe's organization is looking for, not necessarily who the best girl is. Because the best girl that we all think should win might not be the girl that is the best fit for what the Miss Universe organization is looking for at the moment. So let's, you know, as pageant fans and as pageant, you know, aficionados and observers, let's try to make it easy for the girls to relax. Let's stop being nasty towards other girls, other contestants, and just focus on our what do you call this? On our sorry about this. I think I need to. Can you give me like a second, because the battery of my phone is dying down. I just need to. Okay. Okay, there, it's back. It's charging again. Okay. Can you give me like a second? Sorry about this. I just need to change the cable for my charger. Okay. Oh my God. So there, it's charging again. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, you know, I do hope that we all try to be nice in our comments, because who knows, the girl that we are being nasty about might end up becoming the next Miss Universe, and I think it would be very, very awkward for us if we're not we didn't treat her well during the course of the competition. So ultimately, my message is this: let's support the girls that we like without having to put other girls down. There is a thing called karma. So the things that we say, that we negatively say about others, can always go back to haunt us. So I think ultimately we should all support the girls without having to, pull other girls down, because this is a competition, and any competition would end up, with a winner and not so much of a winner. And we don't want to aggravate the difficulties that the girls are already experiencing at this point in time. So let us be sensitive with what we respond, what we comment about the girls, because you don't know, they might be looking at the feed. They might be looking at our, at our comments, because I know for a fact that some of the girls are not only watching and looking at our posts on social media, but they also read the comments about them on our social media. And I actually already apologized to a girl about some comments that was untowardly towards her from our social media. I do hope that this does not put us again in a negative light as as pageant fans. So please, we should have learned from our lesson from earlier this year. The fandoms who are always fighting on social media are the ones that are El Tocuyo queens in Miss Universe 2022. So let's not make that happen again this year. Okay, so some final thoughts from some of you guys on the comment section. Leona Magalona says, thank you, Sir Jason, for sharing your thoughts, how to come up with your top 5. At least we have a different perspective. I will take your note. I will take note of your favorite faves list and will make a close look on into them. Looking forward to your next live. Thank you very much, Leona. Margarita says, thank you, Senor Jason, for being so honest. All the girls are deserving, but unfortunately, there only can be one winner. Good luck to all the girls. I agree. So please, guys, whether or not the campaign of the girls are successful, the way we treat them will definitely define whether they are a winner or not. So if we treat all the girls like winners, like the winners that they are, no one will end up as a loser in the Miss Universe competition, because we treat them as if they were the ones who won the crown. Okay? So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much for all of you who made an effort in our live stream this evening. I do hope that at the end of our live stream, please give us a like. Give this live stream a thumbs up, and follow us on our social media channels, and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. Please, let's grow this pageant community together. I want this community to be a community of well-mannered, mature pageant fans who are not afraid to disagree and to respectfully disagree with each other. Okay, so thank you very much for everyone who joined in this evening, and I do hope to see you again soon on our live stream after the Miss Universe preliminary swimsuit and evening gown competition. Okay, thank you very much. It's good evening from the Philippines, and I do hope everyone would have a productive week ahead. Okay, bye everyone, and see you again soon.